Бутилъчка моя, бутилъчка. Добър вечер, драги приятели. Започваме нашето навино тая вечер, защото има страхотни новини. Знаеш, че ще има втора част днеска, компенсация за вчера, където, така да ви кажа, ме мързеше доста и въобще не ми се знаеше, занимаваше да правя новини, да снимам каквото и да е. Но имаме страшно много материал днеска, така че ще направим изключително информативно вечерно такова разговор с вас. На Винце, хана здраве на всички. Имаме между другото, я да видите конкретните мезалъци. Бабек Васе, бабекче, току-що е изпечено на скарата. Такачка и салатата по тази арабска-израелска рецепта. Цвекло. Този път намерих и семки, слънчогледови семе, сложих вътре, както се трябва, настъргах червено цвекло, наистина много боядисва, но е здравословно, чисти артериите и така нататък, кръвоносните съдове, наистина върши страхотна работа. Да започваме. Това беше въведение. В Украйна започна войната. Това е всъщност. Какво обаче всъщност се случва? Слушайте внимателно. Армията на Украйна бомби мирни населени места. Донбас и Луганск. Потвърдено от независими източници. Видях интервюта с минувачи, граждани, независим такъв англичанин, който снимал там и така нататък. Чуват тътени и всякакви такива неща, които свидетелстват, че всъщност наистина има война в момента там. Но какво всъщност се случва? Нали, някои ще кажат, Русия напада. Не напада Русия. Русия нищо не прави. Слушайте какво става. Върви мобилизация в Донбас. Те са се обявили като нещо като републики, отделни и така нататък. Донбас и тази Луганск. Две отделни републики, нещо от сорта. Събират, нали, мобилизация, защото, чуйте внимателно, украинската армия ги бомбардира. Точно така. Разбира се, за бомбардировките трябва да бъде обвинена Русия и разбира се, заплашват Русия с стриктни, крайни икономически санкции. Мирни граждани, както ви казах, потвърждават, че селищата им биват бомбардирани от украинска армия, а не от Русия. Мръсна, гадна игра. Хора, как мислите? Пишете в коментарите. А сега нещо друго. Продължаваме. Помните 2018 година как бе тръгнал за Тайгър Хаус, Пазарджик, където ще има надсвирване, сбирка на кларинетистите, на саксофонистите и така нататък, което последно тогава, когато се развали тази кола на Пампоро, там на Чилово, там където е Форест, тук, точно на хубавата вода, където обясних ви. И не можах да отида. Осуети ми са плана, но този път колите ми са наред, нали, няма какво да се притесняваме и нека ви обявя новината. Нямаше до сега това събиране, но тази година отново организация на Чеко-България. Ще пада веселба, истинска веселба отново. Тайгър Хаус, Пазарджик, на свирването на кларнетистите, което пропуснах през 2018, както току-що ви казах. Така, завръща се с пълна сила. Разбира се, организирано отново най-добрият перкусионист Чеко-България от град Котел. Организираната среща е на 11 март, в петък от 7 часа започва вечерта. Среща на 4-те школи за кларнетисти в България. Пловдивска, Котелска, Северняшка и Кърджалийска. Мястото, отново повтарям, е Тайгър Хаус, Пазарджик. А телефоните за резервация са 0889 280 116 и 038 944 278. Специални гости, повтарям, Иво Папазов и жената глас на България Петя Панева. Първоначално, като прокоментирах, тя беше на това парти в Котел, като бях. Първото парти, още не знаех името, както и да е, обърках името без значение. Петя Панева се казва жената, нали, от Гласът на България. Там ще бъдат Петър Войников, Божидар, Страхил, Минко Илиев, Ради Драгиев, Славчо Ангелов, Супер Ганчо, Янко Аргиров, Колю Яргиров, Младен Малаков, Орлин Памуков, Ангел Малаков, Любо Малаков, Алекси Стефанов, Алешата генерала, знаете за кой говориме, наследника на Иво Папазов, Филип Симеонов, Самир Саидов, Аяско Сашев, Пламен Велков, Осман Жеков и така нататък и така нататък. Много знакови фигури от този свят, музикантския свят. Куверта ще бъде 50 лева, разбира се, аз съм там, но question ask. Трябва, разбира се, да отбележим, драги приятели, изключително важно е, че мирните граждани от Донбас биват евакуирани в Русия. Нали? Разбира се, ако Русия напада там, защо тези граждани са евакуирани в Русия в момента? Нали? Продължаваме. Сега отиваме в Канада. Страшни новини. Какво се случва от последните дни? Министърката на финансите Христия, както я нарича Саня в Флориде, аз взимам и новини от него, сами разбирате, винаги посочвам източниците, откъдето събирам материал, за да го комплектувам, да направя едно хубаво пъзълче така, което е, нали, изключително важни неща, които не се коментират от мейнстрим медията. Това е моята цел всъщност. Както вече сме споделяли, дядото на тази жена е бил поддръжник, дали чрез медия, дали там по какъвто начин, колкото съм го разбрал, на СС. СС-овец е бил човека, бе. Та историята се повтаря и сега в Канада. Въвежда се фашизъм. Тя държи реч и казва, ние използваме всички инструменти, които имаме, за да потушим протеста. Обявихме извънредно положение. И ние определихме, че на нас са ни нужни допълнителни инструменти и нововъведените мерки ще бъдат в сила постоянно, т.е. завинаги. Финансовият инструмент Финтрак позволява на вас и на любимия за вас, така казано човек, в Канада да му отнемете частната собственост, например, да арестувате човека без съд и следствие. Никакъв съд не е нужен. Финтрак може да каже, че този човек е направил така, да се каже, $20 дарение в полза на протестиращите и този човек и без съд и следствие може да бъде арестуван, поставен в затвора, иззета частната му собственост, могат да му бъдат спряни кредитните карти, кредитна линия, спират му автомобилната застраховка и въобще да направят така, че този човек да не може да се припитава и въобще да съществува. Извънредното положение е просто предлог, за да могат да бъдат въведени тези задължителни мерки и те остават за винаги. Демокрацията в Канада приключи, сега там е диктатура. Та Кристия, финансовата министърка на Канада, драги приятели, е член на форума, Световния икономически форум. Разбрахте правилно, да. За да обезпечим вашата безопасност, казва тя, и стабилност, Канада ще бъде преобразувана за безопасно и надежно общество, направо да им завиди човек. 1933 година в фашистска Германия са действали по абсолютно същия начин, абсолютно идентичен закон. Закона се е казвал там Хитлеровия извънреден акт или нещо от сорта, т.е. предаване на абсолютната власт на диктатора на Германия, както е бил тогава той. Там точно по същия начин е била адресирана конфискацията на имущество без съд и следствие, затвор без съд и следствие и така нататък. Едно къмто едно. Този закон за извънредните ситуации на Трюдо е едно към едно, пак се повтаряме с този на Хитлер. Началото на терора започна. Тъпкане на протестиращи с коне, конна полиция. Тоест полицаите яздят коне се плашат и тъпчат хората. Стъпкали са двама души, на едно видео видях така, новия началник на полицията замени стария. Такъв, както идва този новия и държи реч на някаква конференция. И говори той така: ние се сблъскахме с съпротива. Отишли са с сила, започнали да бутат протестиращите пред парламента. Видяхме, той казва, че протестиращите бяха агресивни към офицерите и в един момент ние използвахме конете заради безопасността на нашите офицери. Това казва на конференция този началник на полицията Стивън Бел. Бил му е зададен въпрос, всъщност беше, аз го гледах това нещо, какво ще се случи с хората от протестите, когато се разотидат, ще бъдат ли преследвани, ще ги преследвате ли, да какви са вашите планове, и простият отговор той казва е да. Ако вие сте вземали участие в тези протести, обязателно ще ви преследваме вашите финанси, също така, без съд ще ви блокират парите. Това е точно същото, което се е случило в Германия през 1933 година. Абсолютно същото. Ще ви вземат имуществото, ще ви хвърлят в затвора, така че дори протестиращите да се откажат от някои, понеже някои провинции са отменили кей мерките, те ще продължат да бъдат преследвани. Така че полицаите вървят по улиците тежко въоръжени и стъпват по канадските флагове, виждаме се на видеа това нещо, които се валят по земята. Това е тяхното отношение към страната им. Използвани са всичките силови мерки, сълзлив газ, прътове там, някакви други неща, било истинско стълкновение, за да разгонят протестиращите. Виждат се, разбира се, иронично казано, изключително мирни полицаи, които чупят стъкла на камиони и унищожават каквото е възможно. Това е демокрацията в Канада в момента. Мислите ли, че ще компенсират шофьорите за потрушаването на собствеността им? Чупят вече стъкла на камионите, вижда се от много видеа. Разбира се, че няма да ги компенсират. Мирни полицаи в кавички, въоръжени до зъби, изглеждат като армия, готови за силови решения, но протестите всъщност не са спряли. Буквално преди 6 часа от момента, в който говоря, хора изпълват улиците, прииждат все повече и повече хора с канадски знамена и черните знамена F Трюдо скандират freedom, т.е. свобода. Т.е. сега протеста започва да се радикализира и в мрежата се виждат видеа с хора с размазани лица, които, така да се каже, благославят Трудо. Протестите всъщност се разширяват. Нищо не постигнаха с това с конете. Коментира Саня в Флорида, който от него взимам някои новини. Така също интересни. Постигнаха това, че хората разбраха, че с мирни протести няма да се получи. А целите всъщност бяха пълната отмяна на всички ограничения. Ню Йорк Таймс и всички останали шизофренични медии на първа страница абсолютно нищо. А какво имат всъщност на първата страница? Руската заплаха пред Украйна, вече изкоментирахме какво всъщност се случва там. И разбира се, лъжи за Тръмп. Разказват какво се случва в Украйна. Интересно, кой вярва на шизофрениците. Знаете вече много добре. Факта е, че те ни лъгаха за кокошата прадня, така наречена. Те ни лъгаха за Тръмп. Те ни лъгаха за всичко. А сега за Украйна ще ни разкажат истината. Стой да грейса, да чакай рейса. И все пак процесите, които се развиват в света, в известен смисъл се повтарят. Четеме нещо друго, точно, интересно и акуратно, така да се каже. Тези процеси не са самобитни, си реч произведени само от нас хората. живеещи на планетата Земя. Процесите се ръководят от много по-високо, дори по-високо от нашата Вселена, и в тях участват много светли сили и същества, защото видяло се развитието на света по този начин не води до положителни неща, а точно обратното. И ако оставим страха си настрани и погледнем истината смело в очите, ще можем да признаем, че виждаме от едната страна политика, подобна на да не кажеме направо на черна магия, внушаване на неистински неща и подтикване чрез ментални негативни форми да се влезе в конфликт и война. На здраве, да продължиме след малко. След наздравицата. И от друга страна виждаме защита на собствените граници и устои и не по-късно, а скромно представяне на добродетели и устойчиво отношение, позитивно отношение към света. И да отидем към мъдростта на ведите, които ни казват, че имало в космоса война на боговете и победили са белите богове. И на тях е оставена властта на земята. И така се пада, драги приятели, че точно руснаците са потомците на белите богове, затова тъмните не могат да ги дишат и само заради факта, че съществуват, искат да ги унищожат. Това, разбира се, не може да се случи в калабалъка на хибридната война. Е много трудно да се ориентира една млада и незряла душа. Но ако човек си даде усилия да се самообразова по въпросите, ще разбере, че има такива, които говорят истината. Някои от тях са академик Катасонов, професор Панарин, бившия съветник на Путин, Михаил Хазин, в България професор Иво Христов, доцент Валентин Ватев и така нататък. Вероятно повечето от вас вече познават тези имена. По-важното е, че техните публикации и от анализа на фактите в развитието на световната икономика може да се направите еднозначно изводите, че икономиката в САЩ е в фалит и ще има пълен банкрут, оттам естествено ликвидация на Европейския съюз, на НАТО, на ООН и така нататък. При това процесите се развиват по напълно естествен път. Deep State глобализма си отива и с него инструментите му, фалшивата пандемия в света, черната пропаганда на медиите, които не разкриват истинските процеси в света и оттам голямата част на простотията на света. Аз мисля да завършим до тук, драги приятели, за тази вечер. Ще продължа да си пия винцето, защото чакам да ми се обадят едни приятели, малко да си побалтаеме, така да се каже. Бъдете здрави. Това беше вечерната емисия. Знаете, не винаги правя така вечерна, но тази вечер, понеже има прекалено много информация, за мен е чест и удоволствие да споделя цялата тази информация с вас, за да мога да осветля умовете ви и да се информираме, защото, знаете, информираните живеят по-дълго. Бъдете здрави и щастливи и нека Бог ви обича.
It's not going to be a very long live stream. Supposed to take a day off today. Just want to stay inside and do nothing. But then I heard about police heading over here, like lots of them. So I responded by stepping out and coming out here. So thank you for tuning in. See what it looks like on Banyan Parkway. Again, I apologize. No gimbal right now. The gimbal is unserviceable at the moment. So I'm trying my best to do this by hand. Another beautiful sunset. I apologize, guys. I cannot read their super chats right now. They are very much appreciated. Please know that. So they basically just got this part of Coventry blocked off. See if we can walk around the hotel and get a different vantage point. Thank you all for tuning in. This is Ottawalks, and we're here in East Ottawa live. Day 24 of the protest. I'd like to walk around the hotel and see if we can see anything from the other side. Oh, here comes some of the vehicles that are being towed right now. Accompanied by police. Actually, I may not be able to get there behind this hotel without trespassing, so I'm not going to do that. guys are just tuning in, I apologize. My gimbal is unserviceable. I am having issues with it, but decided to go live anyway. So if you guys know, this won't be a very long stream. I'm just gonna head back and then cut it off. Just want to let you guys know that this is currently taking place here at 302 Coventry. They are moving the trucks as you speak. Here's a few cruisers here, a few officers here. All right. Oh, here comes some more. They're just towing the small vehicles, though. Oh, yeah, by the way, I started a new YouTube channel, just in case something happens to this one. It is Agent 613. Agent 613, that is my secondary YouTube. Started it just in case anything happens to this and I won't be able to go live. Is to have a backup. Agent 613. All lowercase letters. 613. So please go give that channel a sub or not. That's your choice.
Yes, sir.
The guy in the colorful jacket, they're not pointing at me. Just letting you guys know, they're not pointing at me. Anyone's allowed to smile. Alright, we're gonna cross here. We've got big cameras here. They've got all the access. I'm just a normal guy with a phone. I apologize again. I don't have my gimbal. It is not working at the moment. So we are doing this by hand. I apologize. This is below my standards for my channel, but it's the best I can do right at the moment. So. One of these guys just went on the road to pick up a piece of garbage. It's very nice of them. Alright guys, this won't be a very long live stream. I was intending on staying home all day and doing nothing. Then I heard about some police making their move here at 302 Coventry, and I decided to come out. Apologize again for the lack of gimbal. No idea what's going on with it. I'm still standing here. Sorry guys, sorry, excuse me. Alright. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you. So I think that's pretty much all I'm going to show you. They're doing what they got to do over here to get rid of all the trucks. I may try to walk around this baseball diamond and see if we can catch the view from the other side. If you want to stick around for that. Shout out to the other live streamers that are downtown today or at the War Museum. I'm being lazy. I didn't want to go all the way out there. I just want to stay in and do nothing. So big shout outs to them. I saw Adam Nucci was on all day. Big shout out to him. Who else? Coda B123. Saw he was on earlier. Hope you guys are doing well. Everyone in the chat, thank you very much for joining. I am going to, wow, thank you. That is unnecessary, but very much appreciated. Thank you. Sorry, I can't check that right now, but I will go back and read all the super chats when I get to my computer. I want to remind you guys again, I started a secondary YouTube. It is Agent 613. That is Agent 613, all lowercase, no spaces. Agent 613. And that's a big shout out to you trolls out there. Got these guys with the special press nominates. Well, I'm gonna just walk around the baseball stadium. There's no one telling me I can't. So we're just gonna do that. I have failed. Hey, Candice, thank you. I have failed to put the link for my secondary channel in the description, but I've made a community post about it, and the new link should be working. I know I was getting comments about it not working. It should be working now. So please go back and check that comment. That is my secondary YouTube. No capital agent. There's a real estate guy there, but it's obviously not me. Oh, I do see 2 cruisers up ahead, so they may not allow me to go. But we'll find out. Doesn't hurt to try. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the super chats. Very much appreciated. I want to remind you all that I do not have Twitter. I do not use Twitter. The Ottawalks on there is not me. I have zero affiliation with them whatsoever. I do, however, have Facebook and Instagram. And I have... What else do I have? Got a TikTok, but I don't really use it often. Oh, no, these police are on the highway, so we're good to continue. If you're wondering what bridge this is, it is the Max Keeping Bridge. It allows you to cross from Vanier Parkway to Tremblay train station. And you walk over the 417 highway, which is one of our busiest highways here in Ottawa. Again, I apologize for the shaky camera. My gimbal is unserviceable at the moment. So I'm not sure what we're going to see up ahead. Probably not much, but at least we tried. Please bear with me. I know you expect smooth like imagery from me, but I don't know what's going on with the gimbal. I think I abused it too hard in the last 24 days. Some are saying I need a bicycle. I do have a bicycle. I'm just not going to bike in this winter time. I think that's crazy. I don't want to die out here. There's ice all over. I don't know how other people drive. It's just not a good idea. Alright, so we're coming around back. And there's no one stopping me from coming here, so we're good. I did not disobey any orders from the police. I am just a guy with a camera, and I broadcast my city and other places for the world to see. I'm just a regular guy with a camera. This is a walking channel. You can probably just like show up in the middle and they're gonna ask, how did I get here? Yeah. They'll kick me out, but let's see.
Yeah, oh, don't worry. If you're trying to do anything, I'm so good. Well, are they arresting people?
Probably not gonna get too close, but that's pretty much it. If you guys are curious, I have a backup channel, just in case. Just in case. It's always good to have a secondary channel. I was advised by a good OG YouTuber, so I followed his instructions. Hey, thank you for that. Please check my community tab. The link is in the last post. It should be working now. I fixed it. I don't know what this is. That's a hotel. Here's a baseball stadium. I'm just gonna follow that lady. If they don't bother her, they won't bother me. Hopefully. And then I'll just end the live stream. Alexa, thank you. If you guys are just tuning in, I apologize. My gimbal is, something's wrong with it. So, hope it gets back to normal. Thought I charged it last night, but I guess I failed to do that. We've got all these police here. Ottawa. Peel. More Peel. Alright, I think that's the end of it. I'm going to cut off the live stream. I thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the super chats, they're very much appreciated. Alright, this is Ottawa, and we're here in East Ottawa live, day 24 of the protest. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry it was a short one. I'm sorry my gimbal wasn't working. Thank you for the super chats, they're very much appreciated. I'm just going to keep you with me for a little bit longer until I pass these police up ahead. But thank you. Just a reminder, I have a secondary YouTube, just in case. Maybe I'll put some personal stuff on there, who knows. It is Agent613, Agent613. All lowercase, no spaces. Feel free to give that channel a sub or not, that's your choice. I am just a guy with a camera. This is a walking channel. That's what I've done for the last year and a half. And I'll continue to do so after all this is over. And it'll be my absolute pleasure to bring you along for my future journeys and adventures. Not sure if I will be back tomorrow downtown or here or what. Maybe go to Quebec City, who knows? I don't want to promise anything, but could probably make it happen. We'll see, we'll see. Probably gonna cut the live stream off at the Best Buy. Maybe even go inside and see if they have a gimbal for sale. Look at that, completely blocked off. If you're trying to get to Vanier Parkway, I suggest taking Donald Street or those other streets in Overbrook, Queen Mary, I believe. Exits. All right, everyone. I'm actually gonna hand it off right here. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry for the lack of gimbal. Sorry for the short stream. I was gonna take a day off, but decided to come out and see what's happening over here. So, thanks, guys. We'll see what I do tomorrow. Still not sure. Anyways, love you guys. Peace.
This is a big crowd. You set an all-time record. This is a big crowd. I wish the press just one time would turn those cameras around. They go back. Football fields back. Thank you. I wish that look at all the media. Look at all the fake news we have. Fake news. They ought to turn those cameras back just one time. You know, they don't do that. They don't want to show the kind of crowds we get. Because our country is angry and our country wants to be respected again. Hello, Texas. It's great to be back. In this wonderful, beautiful state with thousands of proud American patriots who believe in family and freedom, God and country, and by the way, oil and guns. Unlike the Democrats, 9 months from now, the people of this state are going to send a thundering message to the radical left Democrats in Washington, D.C. You're going to tell them, don't mess with Texas because Texas is never, ever turning blue. unless they rig the election like they've been doing in numerous other states. And Governor, the governor's here. Your great governor's here. Don't let him do it, Governor. We had a great big victory in the state of Texas. Just be careful with these people. They're treacherous. We're here tonight for a simple reason, because together we have to save America. There's never been a time like this. There's never been a time. What Joe Biden and the Pelosi Schumer Congress have done to our country in just 1 year is a travesty of the highest order. Inflation is skyrocketing. Gas prices are soaring. Supply chains are crumbling. Can you believe what's happening? You can't get anything. The shelves are empty. I did a book. They can't publish it anymore. They can't get the paper, the glue, the ink. Go out and buy it. You'll like it. Murders are surging. Illegal aliens are pouring in by the millions and millions. China is threatening Taiwan. Iran is on the cusp of a nuclear bomb. Russia may take over Ukraine. Do you hear that crowd back there? Can you believe it? I was just informed by a wonderful local politician. This is the biggest crowd of its kind in the history of Texas. Look at it. And the fake news will say a smattering of people showed up. The lines are going back 30 miles long. The cars are still coming. So I want to thank everybody, and it's incredible. And we're going to have a good time tonight, aren't we? So just where would you rather be on a Saturday night than a Trump rally in Texas? See, now Biden would say, where there, he'd say, where would you rather be on a Thursday night in the state of Oklahoma? No, this is Texas. He'd say, this is Texas. Well, we love you too. We love you too. And we all got screwed together, but you know what? We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it. North Korea is testing at a level like never before. The way they withdrew from Afghanistan was catastrophic and image changing for the United States of America. Image changing. That did so much to hurt our country. That was a moment that was so embarrassing and so horrible. And Joe Biden's weakness and incompetence is creating a very real risk of World War III. Look at what's going on. This would have never happened with us. It was never even a thought, would have never happened. If you care about your future, your family, and your country, then you have no choice. This November, you have to throw these raving lunatics the hell out of power and elect strong, smart, tough Republicans who will restore your borders, protect your safety, defend your jobs, and put America first. With Biden and the radical left, it's always America last, and that's what they do. You look at these horrible deals they make throughout the world, it's always America last. Everyone in Washington is obsessing over how to protect Ukraine's border, but the most important border in the world right now for us is not Ukraine's border, it's America's border, and we do nothing about it but let people come in and we have no idea who they are. The first duty of the American president is to defend the American border. Before our leaders talk about invasions of other countries, they need to stop the invasion of this country. It's being invaded. It's being invaded by people that should not be allowed to do. You know, we had the safest border, the strongest border that we've ever had just 1 year ago. And before Joe Biden sent any troops to defend the border in Eastern Europe, he should be sending troops to defend our border right here in Texas. left office, we handed so many incredible things to the new administration, but one of the best was that great secure border. And it wasn't even close. There's never been a border like that. You saw it. People tell me, they said it was like we were living in a different world. It was so nice. They'd never seen it. We had stopped not only the people coming in that we didn't want in most cases, or certainly in many cases, but the drugs now are surging. We had it down to the lowest level in decades. Yet under Biden, over 5 million people trespassed illegally across our border last year alone. Think of it, 5 million people, and we have no idea who the hell they are or where they came from. But you'll be paying a price for years to come. This was not a minor incursion. This was the single largest mass border incursion probably in the history of the world. There's never been a country that would allow this to happen. You can go to third world countries or fourth world countries. They wouldn't allow this to happen. Normally a nation has to lose a war to a foreign power in order to lose its border. And yet our border has been surrendered. Look, we have surrendered our border. It's been surrendered by our own president and the Democrats, just like Biden surrendered to Afghanistan. And now the entire planet is intruding across it as though America had been defeated on the field of battle. There's no other excuse for it. And even during the debates, nobody said that this was going to happen. Nobody said we were going to have totally open borders. And if they said it, we wouldn't have believed them. Nobody would have believed that. Biden's complete abdication of duty is getting untold numbers of innocent Americans killed. On Biden's watch last year, Border Patrol saw a 350% increase in criminal aliens breaking across our border, including 1,900% more murders. 1,900%. In the sanctuary state of New York, 3 savage illegal alien MS-13 gang member killers were charged last year with beating a 31-year-old mother with a baseball bat, hacking her to pieces with a machete, and stuffing her body into the trunk of a car. 3 months ago, an illegal alien with a prior criminal record violently carjacked a woman at a gas station in suburban Kentucky, shot her 16-year-old son who was in the car, and went on a 2-week-long crime spree of brutal carjackings and armed robbery, hurting many people right now in hospitals all over that great state. In Beverly Hills, California, the crime is so bad that rich people leave their car trunks open so the vandals and thieves won't destroy their cars when robbing them. Think of that. That's Beverly Hills. A lot of money in Beverly Hills, right? They're not so happy. You know, people have asked me, and they said, would you do it? And I said, I'll do it. I have to find it, but I'm going to do it. But it's nice to have a memory where you don't really have to read it. But let's read it anyway. Let's read it anyway. They wanted to hear the snake. I haven't done that at all. Does anybody know what that is? And this, as you know, has to do with immigration. Do you want me to do it? So this has to do really with immigration. And it's a very serious problem for our country. We have many serious problems. We're the losing end of every single problem. The snake. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty-colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Poor thing, she cried, I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you. Take me in, oh tender woman, take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in had been fully revived. Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed that vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. You're so beautiful, she cried. But if I didn't bring you in by now, you truly would have died. She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying, thank you, ma'am, the snake gave her a vicious bite. Take me in, O tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. I saved you, cried the woman. And you've bitten me, but why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. And that's what's happening to the United States of America with immigration. I think it's pretty accurate. Do you agree? I think it's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. Pretty accurate. Thank you. When Republicans retake Congress, one of the first things they should do is pass a bill massively increasing the number of ICE officers to ensure that every single illegal alien Joe Biden let into our country illegally is safely and quickly sent back home. Have to do it. We're not going to have a country. Every day, Biden's incompetence is putting America at risk. As everyone knows, what Putin and Russia are doing with Ukraine would never, ever, not even possible, have happened if I was president. Never did. Never did. They would not have dreamed of it, and they would not have dared to do it. And I had a good relationship, but remember, I'm the one that broke up his pipeline deal. He wasn't happy about that. He said, you're killing me with the pipeline. Nobody else brought up pipeline. Nobody ever heard about Nord Stream 2. In the words of the great historian, and he is indeed a great historian and philosopher, Victor Davis Hanson. You know, Victor Davis Hanson, to me, is one of the greatest people around.
Hey! Ok. Stroji si dnes da započne всичко с тебе от начало.
Within this 4-year period when Trump
Не зная вътре
take
в
out
нас
Soleimani, kill al-Baghdadi, completely destroy ISIS, and be smart with North Korea. And he said, and Russia during this 4-year period, Russia didn't move.
За всички сме край и начало в любовта. Искам да извикам още те обичам. Нека да
When my watch
започнем
America was respected again, maybe
Искам да
respected like
извикам.
never
Нека
before.
да те има тук до мен на този свят.
And I was proud to be the first president in decades who did not get the United States into any new wars. I took us out of endless and ridiculous wars. Remember when I was running, they were all screaming, "You'll start a war! He's that kind of a guy." No, I'm the one that got him out of the fight. Because they didn't want to mess with us. Totally rebuilt the military. Nobody wanted to. Yes, of course we gave 85 million of it to the Taliban. Not even believable. We truly had to be true strength, as Ronald Reagan would say. We demanded that our NATO allies pay their fair share, and I made clear that if Europe cared about its borders, they would have to pay. They would have to pay because we were paying for NATO. And by the way, they screwed us on trade all the time. You know, they were almost as bad as China, but nobody takes it. I'm not. A lot of us came from Europe at one point, whether it's us, America, grandparents, but they were very good at taking advantage. Americans were not going to be played for countries anymore under the Trump administration. It was very clear. A big part of the reason we are now witnessing this dangerous situation in Ukraine is that as soon as Biden other countries got the message that it was back to the old days of taking advantage of the United States, that they didn't have to pay their bills, do their jobs, or risk their lives. Let the fellow Americans do it for us. The incompetence of our leaders can be scarcely believed. It's a disaster and a disgrace what's happened to our country in the last 10 months. A disaster, a disgrace. Nobody can believe it. Remember, there's a reason that Joe Biden can't walk into a sports stadium anywhere in America without being loudly mocked and ridiculed. Joe Biden, Chuck Schumer, crazy Nancy Pelosi. She's crazy as a bedbug, that one. Nuts. He made a phone call to Ukraine to congratulate the man who just became president. We have to impeach him. Can you imagine? And Hunter Biden's taking $83,000 a month and gets $3 million sign-up fee. Even though he knew nothing about oil, you have to go to Texas, grab anybody in the audience, but it wasn't Hunter. No, but can you imagine crazy Nancy? Let's impeach the president of the United States for congratulating the president of Ukraine. And that call that was made yesterday with Biden, if that was even half what they said, that was not a good call. In fact, the president of Ukraine was saying to him supposedly, calm down, just calm down. I think we're okay, just calm down. Can you believe it? This is incredible. But their sinister faces of corruption, lawless political establishments like this should not be allowed to continue. They send young Americans to fight and die for the borders of distant foreign nations while they throw our borders open to illegal foreign invasion. We fight for other borders, but we don't fight for our own. They torture your children with masks in school while they host parties packed with unmasked donors in New York, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. They restrict your freedom and lock you in your home while they abolish cash bail and release thousands of really dangerous murderers, dangerous criminal murderers. They release them from jail. They drive up the price of your energy for your family while they are shuttled around in limos and airplanes on American taxpayer dollars. They censor, cancel, and persecute ordinary citizens for speaking the truth while they drown your endless torment of, what they do. They have an endless list of propaganda and propaganda methods that nobody would believe, including hoaxes and demented lies. We had all of the hoaxes. The American people are sick of this entire rotten and wretched political class. Think about it. Other countries, they have a country. We have a country. All they do is try and destroy you. Thank you very much. No, it's true. It's a perfect. That was much better than I was going to come up. Thank you. Whoever the hell you are, put your hand up. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the hand. Usually that's left for Joe Biden. I'm a little embarrassed. I just liked it much better than what I was going to say. They're fed up with politicians who rig and steal our elections and our wealth, squander our strength, and spill our blood all over the world. And in many cases, for absolutely no reason, by countries and for countries that don't even want us there and don't even like us and certainly don't respect us. In 2022, we are going to start by ending Nancy Pelosi's political career once and for all. And then we're going to kick the Biden crime family out of the White House in 2024. A really great new book by Peter Schweitzer, which is a terrific book, actually, a sad book, very sad because of what it says and represents, just reported that the Biden family has collected over $31 million from entities linked to the Chinese Communist Party, $31 million. That's in addition to the $83,000 a month from the Ukrainian energy company, which a lot of people said was very corrupt. The millions from the mayor of Moscow's wife, millions, $3.5 million. What was that for? I really don't know. Remember the laptop from hell when they found it? What did they say? The Russians did it. Oh, the Russians did it. Remember that? That turned out to be, like everything else, totally false. Can you imagine when he realized that his laptop from hell was missing and that they found it? But the fake news didn't even want. A great book on that was done. The fake news didn't even want to talk about it. And all the rest of the Biden's graph that was censored by the media and the big tech giants during the campaign. And the reason they did that is because they knew that it represented maybe 15 points and maybe more of downfall. In other words, even with all of their cheating, all of the horrible things they did during the election, even with that, they would lose the election. It represented a 15-point fall. So the media got together, and outside of the New York Post, which I give a lot of credit for, they refused to talk about it. The radical Democrats spent years investigating fake scandals, the Mueller hoax, impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, the Unselect Committee on January 6th. How about that committee? And the outrageous civil and criminal harassment in New York and Atlanta of a person known as Donald Trump. Have you ever heard of him? And Biden has the real scandals, and rest assured, when Republicans retake Congress, the Biden corruption will be investigated and exposed by Congress. But we no longer have a free and fair press. If we did, all of this would end. It wouldn't be there. It's actually just the opposite. As an example, One American News. Do we like it? It's a very popular carrier of our voice, your voice, my voice, everybody's voices. And unexpectedly, last week, they announced that they're going to be shutting down. This is AT&T shutting down One American News. So what's happening is DirecTV, which is owned by Time Warner, is just, I mean, think of it, CNN. How bad, by the way, tell me, how bad and how fake is CNN? So One American News, which is wonderful, they're going to shut it down. And if they shut down OAN, you should boycott AT&T and DirecTV. You should. If they shut it down, people love it. People love it. And it's got a big audience. It's purely political. And if you look at the chairman of the board and if you look at the other people, you'll understand what's going on. And while you're at it, boycott Comcast and Xfinity while you're at it. I call it C-O-N, Concast, because it's a con job. Because they're no good. They're just no good. And they're so bad for our country. The millions of dollars the Bidens took from China also explains why Joe has refused to hold the Communist Party accountable for unleashing the virus on us and the rest of the world. Biden's letting China be rewarded, even while he's punishing our own citizens with brutal mandates and attacks on our freedoms. And by the way, we have a couple of people here that are very brave. The Herrings, Mr. Herring. I heard he was here. I just heard that. Robert Herring, Charles Herring. Where are you? Charles Herring. They are the ones, and they're American patriots. They own, where are you? I want to thank you on behalf of, I'd say, 97% of the people here. They own OAN, One America News, and they have done such a job at great personal expense. I want to thank you, Charles and Robert. Thank you very much. Great personal expense. And you've done a fantastic job. And let's see what happens. Remember, Direct TV boycotted if they terminate this incredible group of people, because they really get the word out and they get the truth out, and you can't be terminating. They have enough problems with this country without terminating the truth. It's time for the American people to declare independence from every last COVID mandate. We have to tell this band of hypocrites, tyrants, and racists that we're done with having them control our lives, mess with our children, and close our businesses. We're moving on from COVID. Whether they like it or not, we're moving on. We did a great job. Operation Warp Speed has been praised by everybody, but it's now time to move on. Remember, there are far more of us than there are of them. That's true. The Canadian truckers, you've been reading about it, who are resisting bravely these lawless mandates and doing more to defend American freedom than our own leaders by far. And we want those great Canadian truckers to know that we are with them all the way. They are. They've really shown something. It's time to move on. Time to move on. Next year, a Republican Congress should pass a bill rehiring every single member of the military who was cruelly and wrongfully terminated by Joe Biden and his ridiculous COVID mandate, and force the Pentagon to give these patriots an apology and full back pay. We're thrilled to be joined tonight by many great Republican leaders, and I want to introduce some of them. The place is loaded. We are loaded. 85,000 people. They want to be here. They're politicians, right? And who can blame them? But they're great people. And a man that I endorsed a long time ago, very early, he got me to spend so much money on Texas. He wants to build a dam so we don't have any more floods during the storms. I said, how much would that cost? Approximately $10 billion. Oh, that sounds reasonable, Governor. But he's a great governor. He loves the state. Has my complete and total endorsement. Greg Abbott, Governor Greg Abbott. Where's the... A man, where's Greg? Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Thank you, Governor. Looking good, Governor. A man who has been with me from the beginning. This guy is great, and he's a wonderful person, and his son has done a fantastic job as U.S. Attorney. Dan Patrick, Lieutenant Governor. Where's Dan? Dan Patrick. Thank you, Dan. We got a lot of great people here tonight. Thanks, Dan. He calls me, sir, I think this one is great. Could you give them an endorsement? I said, absolutely, Dan. Whatever you want, Dan. He's gotten a hell of a lot of endorsements, but you've done a great job. And they've been great people you recommend, I will say. an attorney general who has really led the way, somebody who has been brave and strong. Ken Paxton. Ken, brave and strong and popular. Thank you very much, Ken. They all have my complete and total endorsement, and so do many of the others. Monday is the last day to register to vote in the primary on March 1st. So you got to get out there, Texas, and vote. You're going to have some great people going against some Democrats, and they're going to win. A man who was a fantastic Secretary of Energy and an incredible governor, Mr. and Governor and Secretary Rick Perry. Where's Rick? Rick? Thank you, Rick. Thank you, man. Thank you, Rick. And we have a lot of congressmen, warriors with us. So congressmen and representatives, just great people. We'll start. Brian Babin. Where's Brian? Brian. Thank you, Brian. John Carter. Thank you, John. Thank you. Michael Cloud. He just went up. We gave him an endorsement. He went like a rocket ship right up. Pat Fallon. Pat, thank you very much. A wonderful guy, served a long time, has done a great job. Kevin Brady. Thank you, Kevin. I mean, this one is very special because he was my doctor. He knows everything about it. I don't know if he was a better doctor, admiral, or congressman. I don't know. It could be congressman, actually. They love you. They love Ronnie Jackson, right? You know, they were getting a little nasty. They didn't like that we were doing so well. So they said, maybe this guy's not with it. And I said, Ronnie, can I take some kind of a test? Is there something like that? You can, sir, but it's very hard. I said, what's hard? Well, the first questions are easy, but then it gets harder and harder. When you get to question number 30, it's pretty hard, sir. I said, well, would anyone know if I did badly, right? He said, well, you know, it is Walter Reed. A lot of people see what's happening. I better do well. He said, what do you think? I said, I don't know. I did pretty well in my life. Let's take it. And I took this cognitive test. And as Ronnie said, I got every single question right. He said I aced them. And, you know, from that point on, they didn't talk. They found other things. Then they said he wants to be a dictator. He wants to be. They went on to other things. But I think Biden should do the same thing, Ronnie. Would you administer the test, please? It would solve so many problems. I have a feeling he won't be doing it anytime soon. Do you agree? But seriously, Ronnie Jackson has done a great job no matter where he's been. They love him in Texas, and I am very proud of him. And he said about me, this is one of the healthiest human beings I've ever seen. He actually said, if he didn't eat junk food, he'd live to 200 years old, right? And he was kidding a little, but he got himself into trouble with that one. We love Ronnie. Thank you very much, Ronnie. Another man, very brave, got shot, and he handled it incredibly well during that very horrible period that everybody knows about it. Roger Williams. Roger? Where are you, Roger? Thank you, Roger. Good job, Roger. Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller. Sid. You know, I watched Sid on television, the first race and the second. They said, sir, you know, it's a very close race. They're telling him, some interviewer, radical left probably said, he said, Texas is going to be very close. He said, I don't know where you come from, son, but Texas is not going to be very close. Trump is going to win it in his landslide, and that's what happened twice. So we appreciate it. Thank you, Sid. He said, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, son. You don't know too much. We have some great people from out of state. Missouri, Attorney General Eric Schmidt. Eric. Thank you, Eric. Great job, Eric. Great. Arkansas Attorney General, wonderful woman, wonderful friend, Leslie Rutledge. Leslie? Thank you, Leslie. Great job. We should have an Attorney General like you guys in a place called New York. We should. By the way, I think I saw Louis Gohmert in the audience. Where the hell is Louis Gohmert? I got all these people. I don't even know they're coming. Louis Gohmert, what a wonderful guy. Congressman Louis Gohmert. This is a man who's been a friend of mine from day one. Thank you, Louis, for being. I just saw you sitting there. He's very distinctive with that beautiful face. Right? Thank you, Louis. You know, I see another one. He sells, now you're selling everything. He's no longer the pillow man. He sells everything. Mike Lindell. I think he's the greatest. I think he's the single greatest purchaser of advertising I've ever seen. I said, Mike, I don't care how many pillows you sell, and now you're selling slippers and sheets, you're selling everything. I said, I don't care. You can't afford that much advertising. I think you know what he does? He waits till the show is just ready to go on. Any empty slot, he says, I'll give you $200 for it to Fox. I'll give you 200. They'll say, no, we want 3. He said, nope, I'll go 201. You're the greatest buyer of ads I've ever seen. And a lot of other good things, too, by the way. So, Mike Lindell, everybody. Very good guy. Whoa. That's pretty good. Another man who's done a fantastic job, Indiana Attorney General, Todd Rokita. Todd, thank you very much. Todd Rokita. Thank you. Good job, Todd. Thank you. South Dakota Attorney General Jason Ravnsborg. Jason, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. They like you in Texas. They like all of you in Texas. State Senator Dawn Buckingham. Good luck. Good luck. You're gonna have a good, solid victory. State Representative Steve Toth. Steve. He's a big guy for stopping the election fraud. Judge Mark Keogh. Judge. Thank you, Mark. A lot of power, that guy. A lot of power. Gonzales Mayor Connie Kassir. Connie Kassir. Thank you. Thanks, Connie. Good luck in your race. And Texas GOP chair, he's done a fantastic job. Matt Rinaldi. Thank you, Matt. Thanks. Thank you, Matt. Great job you've done. And a very special thanks to a longest-serving GOP chair, longest-serving in history, I guess. 92-year-old. I watched him. I talked to him backstage. He's still at Dynamo. Dr. Wally Wilkerson. Wally, thank you. Thanks, Wally. He's still at Dynamo. We're also joined by one of the greatest pitchers, easily one of the greatest pitchers in baseball history, Roger Clemens with his incredible wife, Debbie. Roger, where's Roger? Look at him. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you for everything. We're big fans. That guy was, boy, was he good, man. Nobody messed with him. He used to throw at the head once every about 12 pitches. They went up, people were, these big, powerful hitters, they were shaking with Roger. Something else. And he won like 360 games or some ridiculous number of games. And third all-time in strikeouts, as I remember, right, Roger? What a great athlete. And your sons are all great. Your family are just great athletes. And one son, I understand, made the roster of the Detroit Tigers, right? That's great. They'll have to change the name of the Detroit Tigers because they don't want to, it's unfair to use the word Tiger. You know, they're changing the name of the Cleveland Indians. Can you believe that one? Can you believe that? They're changing the name of the Cleveland Indians. So I guess Tiger is probably at play also. Everything's at play. If you let these people get away with it, they'll destroy your whole country, okay? It's crazy. I also want to say a brief word about the atrocities this week in the Houston area where 3 brave police officers were brutally shot in the line of duty on Thursday. A Harris County officer was murdered by an illegal alien in a traffic stop on Sunday. Illegal alien, where did he come from? And another officer was also horribly killed. And I just want to pay My respects. The Houston police and law enforcement has treated us with such incredible dignity and respect. And they're incredible people, and I want to thank them. And if they want to stand up, but the Houston police have been incredible. Everybody in Texas is incredible, but our heart breaks for those courageous officers that we've just lost. We send our prayers. We send our everlasting love to their families. We ask God to help our wounded heroes make a swift and full recovery. Together we will always back our great men and women in blue, won't we, huh? Always. Over the past 12 months, we have seen the starkest contrast between two successive presidents in the history of our country. Let's simply compare the records. In 1 year, Joe Biden's socialist spending binge sparked the worst inflation in 40 years and soon to be probably 92 years from what they're predicting. The grocery stores are running out of food. The Congressional Budget Office slashed its long-term growth forecast way back, 30%, and it's going to be much higher than that. More Americans died of COVID on Biden's watch than in all of 2020. At least 16 Democrat-run cities saw record high numbers of murders and drug abuse and every other form of crime. Suburbs are seeing surging carjackings and smash and grab. We never heard of that term before. They just run into department stores and smash the hell out of it and grab it. And they just get out for nothing. There's no recrimination. Biden has abolished the southern border, canceled the Keystone XL pipeline, re-entered the unfair and very expensive, unfairly very expensive, horrible Paris Climate Accord ripoff. It's a ripoff of our country. Caused gas prices to skyrocket by more than 100% in a year, and then begged OPEC for mercy, please send us more energy. He's emboldened Iran, betrayed Israel, and presided over the catastrophe in Afghanistan. By contrast, and that's just a few, I didn't want to bore you with going on, I could go on for 10 more minutes. By contrast, we had perhaps the most successful 4 years of any president in American history. Before the pandemic, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world. We created over 7 million new jobs and achieved the lowest unemployment rates for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Asian Americans ever recorded. And you could add women, you could add high school diplomas, non-high school diplomas, diplomas from MIT, Harvard, Yale, the Wharton School of Finance. You could add them all. Everybody was doing better than ever before. We lifted 7 million people off food stamps and 10 million people off welfare. We accomplished the largest poverty reduction in more than 50 years in the United States and the lowest African American and Hispanic American poverty rates also in recorded history. After the
Ще го
pandemic
намерите
hit,
в YouTube и си го гледайте
and then
с това
horrible
прекъсване на
plague
едно
came in
друго.
from China, we saved the U.S. economy and launched the fastest recovery on record. It's never.
Путину объяснение, как в допинг-пробе фигуристки Камилы Валиевой мог оказаться запрещенный препарат триметазидин, звучит как «собака съела домашку». Деннис Освальд, глава дисциплинарной комиссии МОК, сказал, что препарат попал в организм спортсменки в результате загрязнения с продуктом, который принимал ее дедушка. То же самое говорит мама фигуристки Алсу Валиева. Диванные спортаналитики в соцсетях тут же принялись шутить. Представляете, как прыгает четверные самый старший Валиев. В этой версии действительно есть узкие места. Легко поверить, что у дедушки фигуристки могут быть проблемы с сердцем, и серьезные, что он пьет выписанные ему препараты.
По данным источника, предоставленное в КАС видео было снято в машине. Дедушка Валиевой показал упаковку с лекарством и заявил, что периодически принимал триметазидин, когда у него случались приступы. Также источник сообщает, что мать спортсменки в своих показаниях заявила о том, что дедушка ежедневно сопровождал фигуристку на тренировке и оставался с ней до...
разследване от нас и казаха, че трябва да следва на место. Защо? Много добре. И аз тогава казах, че няма да отида, докато не знам който не никак. Отговориха ми, че ако не отида, ще бъда едва ли не насилствено заведен. Трябва с всички данни нещо от този род. Отидах в ДАН, питаха ме дали за това 2014 година, някъде август месец, връчена с област. Чак да се сетят. Казах ми, не знам, не помня. И тогава той, който ме възпитваше, каза, запишете, не съм била. Каза, записах, не съм била. След което ми показа тези подписи и ме попитаха, този подпис ваш ли е? Погледнах, да, подписът беше мой. Приключи разпита и аз, чудейки се още на въпроси, влизайки на домта, почнах да се досещам и звъннах на мои близки и те ми напомниха за присъствието ми при учредяването на партия на зараждане, след което се обадих на клиента от ДАНС и му казах, че съм се сетила какво точно съм правила и искам да си коригирам показанията. Категорично ми отказа, не може. Така всичко стана, аз можах да коригирам истинността на моите показания. Бях потърсен от ДАНС по телефона. Беше наказано, че има злоупотреба с лични данни. Когато пристигнах на място, първият въпрос на следващото беше през 2014 хора ли си близки. Аз потвърдих. Следващите въпроси бяха дали съм участвал на събрание на политическа партия на зараждане за нейното учреждане на работа си през 2014. Аз потвърдих. На по-късен етап от разпита, разследващи полицаи казаха, ще имат сведения, че такова събрание не се е състояло. Изпробваха различни методи, най-ясно е станало съзнанието, че това, което казвам, може да бъде използвано като доказателство и да бъде поднесено под съдебна отговорност за лъжесвидетелство. Аз успях да успея на натиска и казах истината.
2020. We are
Much love
still
to you.
seeing daily test positivity rates over 10% in packed hospitals staffed by overstretched healthcare workers. And here I want to thank all healthcare workers for caring for Nova Scotians and for caring for all Canadians. I have hope that a brighter spring is on its way, and I want to encourage everyone to spread hope to their friends, communities, and loved ones, while at the same time recommitting themselves to having each other's backs, being cautious, getting vaccinated, and showing our solidarity with one another.
Honourable member's time is up, and she'll be able to continue during questions and comments. Questions et commentaires. The honourable member for Mission Matsky Fraser Canyon.
Like, how many more people do they expect to get vaccinated at this point?
Honourable member from Halifax West.
We have one of the highest vaccination rates in the world.
Focused on Section 58 of the Emergencies Act. I do disagree with her.
Either a bot or a
based on
lizard.
the fact that there hasn't been adequate evidence provided to this chamber to determine that no other law in
Love and
Canada
support
could
each other,
deal
our
with this
neighbors.
point.
Yes.
I would encourage the member to look at the Emergencies Act NOA submitted by the Civil Liberties Association, and paragraph 51 especially, where it outlines that they believe that the government's precipitous invocation of the Emergencies Act appears to have been motivated
Grocery
by
money
the
stolen from
provinces have not
families,
gone
really?
far enough in addressing
Yeah, I
the
guess the
provincial
bank
protests.
account's frozen.
However, and I go on, this does not mean that the provinces lack the capacity or authority to deal with the protests. The provinces have the tools they need according to the Civil Liberties Association, and the Emergencies Act, they go on to argue, was not intended to provide the federal government a pathway to arrogate provincial powers to itself in circumstances where the provinces do not exercise those powers in the ways the federal government would have. Can the member provide any form of increased evidence to this chamber demonstrating that the federal government actually had to go as far as it did? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Member for Halifax West.
Thank you very much to my colleague for the question. In my remarks, I have specifically said where the Ottawa interim police chief concluded that without the act, they would not have been able to do what they did. Again, the
Josh
Ottawa
says,
police chief,
you can be
Cheryl
free or you
Bordelot,
cannot. Time to
had said
choose,
that
right?
The
Thank you, Josh.
Emergency
Thank
Act
you so
allows
much,
them
brother.
to set up the perimeter, allowed police to deny entry to those trying to join the protest. It allowed for the banning of bringing children and minors into the designated zone, allowed for the quick
Unvaxxed
seizure of
sperm,
money
very
and assets
expensive
and
here in
loans
the New
sustaining the
Zealand, right?
occupation, allowed for
Unvaxxed sperm is
vehicles
the
to
new
be towed,
Bitcoin.
allowed for immediate swearing in of officers from outside Ontario as police officers and others. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Questions and comments. We'll now have the Deputy Secretary.
The Honourable Member for Saint-Hyacinthe. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to thank my colleague for her speech. We don't interpret it the same way. A professor from Université Laval in Quebec, from the law faculty, has said today on Radio-Canada that it was not sufficient to say that a law was useful, because that's what the Chief of Police of Ottawa said. It also needs to be demonstrated that it's necessary or indispensable, and that's where the government is weak, because it can't be proven that it is indispensable and
Hashtag pure blood.
when it wasn't.
God bless Canada
When
from the
other
U.S.
laws were
in
the first
Biden
14
in hell.
days of the crisis.
Thank you for
So
that,
why
Decoin.
did, the
Hopefully
President
y'all are doing
go
good
straight to
too.
the nuclear option before exploring other options.
And thank you, Adam. Much love.
The Honourable Member for Halifax West.
Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I appreciate my colleague's question. Unfortunately, I have a different opinion. It was necessary to invoke the Emergencies Act. The special measures provided by this act are time limited, temporary, and geographically focused, and they must comply with the Charters of Rights and Freedoms. And the police forces indicated that without this act, they would not have been able to take the measures that they did. Thank you.
And comment, a short question, should I say, from the honourable member for Edmonton Strathcona.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It'll be short, but I hope not small.
Last fan standing said it's been 2 years. The people that aren't vaccinated are going to get vaccinated. Right, last man standing.
So
Thank
we
you
know
for that.
that many of the people that are that have been radicalized on social media. And I'm just wondering, is the government planning on bringing this legislation forward? And if so, when and why not yet?
A brief answer from the member for Halifax West.
Sure, thank you so much, Madam Chair. I really appreciate the thoughtful question, and I've listened to the honourable colleague for the last couple of days asking questions. Really appreciate her interjections. I am part of the governing party, but I'm certainly not in government, but I definitely value us bringing that forward, and I will take that back to my colleagues.
All right, Sabi. Everything okay, Sabi?
Resuming debate, the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Environment and Climate Change.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. It is my pleasure to rise today to speak in favor of the government's invocation of the Emergencies Act. And I would first like to start by joining my colleagues in thanking the Parliamentary Protective Service for keeping members and all of the staff of the House of Commons safe and secure. They have done an exemplary job working under exceptionally trying circumstances. We owe them a great deal of gratitude.
What's up, Dan?
Like to thank all members of law enforcement who are working calmly and professionally to help restore law and order to our nation's capital, to the parliamentary precinct, and in border communities across Canada. Madam Speaker, I've had the honour of serving as the Member of Parliament for Winnipeg South for over 6 years. Serving as Member of Parliament also means that I am a resident of downtown Ottawa when the House is sitting. And Madam Speaker, I have witnessed firsthand the anxiety and hardship this unlawful occupation has caused for local residents and businesses. I have been worried about frightened children unable to sleep or attend school, about people who need an ambulance or other emergency services, about pedestrians harassed on the street for simply wearing a mask, and about frontline workers who don't have a paycheck because of their places of employment have been forced to close. And
Thank
I,
you,
like
No.
so many Canadians, was deeply, deeply disturbed to see the
Thank you for being here.
and the Terry Fox statute disrespected, and to witness numerous symbols of hate openly displayed in our nation's capital.
Climate change
Madam
is
Speaker, I want to be clear
geoengineering.
that there is a distinction between those who oppose public health measures with respect to COVID-19 and those who are responsible for the hostile occupation of our nation's capital. The vast majority of those who are opposed to public health measures enacted by the various levels of government have expressed themselves through legitimate and peaceful means, as is their right under the Charter. Their points of view should not be diminished or confused with the unlawful aims of those who organized the occupation of downtown Ottawa. We cannot forget, Madam Speaker, that the organizers of the so-called Freedom Convoy made it clear in their MOU that their stated goal was the removal of a federal government that was elected only 5 months ago. These organizers are clearly using public health measures as a rallying cry in a bid to undermine our valued democratic institutions with no regard for the rights of their federal fellow citizens.
What we are here, I'm going to pause for just 2 seconds. We'll get right back into it. But what we are here is the tribe of freedom. It doesn't matter whether you got the shot or didn't get the shot. It's about freedom of choice. Just as much as we're respecting for people's right to not get the shot, we're respecting people's right to get the shot, right? It's all about choice and freedom, right, at the end of the day.
Of our economy. What I find particularly troubling, Madam Speaker, is that this unlawful occupation has been actively encouraged and cheered on by the Conservatives who sit in this House, by the current interim leader of the opposition, by the member for Regina Capel, who is a former Conservative leader and Speaker of this House, and by many, many other Conservative members, including by the member for Carleton, who is a candidate for the leadership of his party, who professed loudly he was proud to stand with the truckers occupying Wellington Street. Well, Madam Speaker, I'm proud to stand with the 90% of truckers who are vaccinated, some of whom have been prevented from doing their jobs because of blockades at our borders. During the critical days in January, when occupiers first arrived in Ottawa, Canadians witnessed multiple media reports of Conservative members expressing admiration, sharing meals, and taking selfies with the occupiers, thus emboldening and encouraging them in their unlawful activities.
Exactly,
It is
my
no
body, my
surprise then,
choice.
Madam Speaker, that the Conservatives now oppose this declaration of an emergency when they have so actively contributed to it. Madam Speaker, it has been said many times, and it deserves repeating, that the declaration we are debating today is not the War Measures Act of the past. Through the modernized Emergencies Act, we are providing expanded
pure
authorities
freedom.
to law
Try
enforcement
pure freedom.
to regulate crowds, dismantle blockades, and keep essential first responder and trade corridors open. These measures are targeted, temporary, and proportionate. The government has invoked them only after all options had proved insufficient. This is about keeping Canadians safe, protecting their jobs, and restoring confidence in our institutions. It's about upholding peace, order, and good government. The specific measures provided in the Emergencies Act are limited and subject to numerous checks and safeguards, such as the debate we are having right now. All measures must be compliant with the Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
But they're having the debate as people are getting their ass beat in Ottawa.
Rights or freedoms of expression. For the overwhelming majority of Canadians, including my constituents, there is no impact on their daily lives or on their rights and freedoms they enjoy. It is important to note that the acting chief of the Ottawa Police Service, Steve Bell, on Friday, clearly stated that law enforcement would not have been able to take the actions they did to end this occupation without the new authorities granted under the Emergencies Act. A former chief of the Ottawa Police Service and the Conservatives' own caucus colleague, Senator Vern White, agrees that invoking the Emergencies Act was the right thing to do at this juncture. And the Premier of Ontario, a progressive Conservative leader, Doug Ford, said he supports the federal government's decision to provide additional tools to help police resolve the situation in the nation's capital.
He's reading a script handed by the World Economic Forum.
Of support from many law enforcement
I lost it. The chat's moving fast, y'all. Sorry.
I have also received many messages of support for the Emergencies Act from my constituents, the people of Winnipeg South. These constituents reflect the vast majority of Canadians who believe in the rule of law and who support the invocation of the Emergencies Act. Opinion survey after opinion survey.
1776, says Savvy.
The border blockades seen across Canada, including at Emerson in my home province of Manitoba, have cost our economy billions and have strained our international reputation and good relationship with trading partner nations.
Get them all out, Roosevelt. Get all of them out.
It appears to me, Madam Speaker, that the Prime Minister's announcement that he would invoke the Emergencies Act provided an immediate boost to local law enforcement agencies across Canada, and the illegal blockades at border crossings began to be dismantled. And as the member for Windsor West said this morning, the act has prevented a number of attempted blockades from
taking place, Lisa?
As several convoys have been intercepted and turned around. And the success we have seen so far by the police in restoring law and order to the streets of Ottawa proves to me that using the Emergency Act was the right decision.
No, it's all good, Savvy.
Madam Speaker, now is
we're done with 1776.
The women and men in law enforcement who protect us all.
Alex Jones was right, says
measures they are now actively using. I would like to end on a note of optimism. Madam Speaker, Canadians have just endured 2 years of pandemic anxiety. It has been unprecedented in this century. Many have suffered economic and personal loss. Our citizens are tired. Conservatives say that Canada has never been more divided, but I say, as our Prime Minister has, Madam Speaker, that in many ways we have never been more united. We have worked together to fight COVID-19 and protect our healthcare systems and our economy. This Liberal government has supported Canadians in doing this, and Canadians have risen to the challenge. Our vaccination rates are among the highest in the world. Our economy is rebounding. Our healthcare workers teachers, grocery store workers, and yes, our truckers have been there for us. Today, we as the People's House need to stand up for our fellow citizens. After 2 years of pandemic hardship, border communities should not now suffer illegal blockades, impacting travelers, public servants, and whole sectors of our economy. The people of Ottawa should not need to endure one more day of unlawful occupation. Members
and get the police out of there.
Help lift the siege for the residents, the businesses, the employees, the seniors, and the students of Centertown. This House can and should fully support our frontline police officers and let them finish the job. I would encourage all of my colleagues to support the motion and approve the declaration of an emergency. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Comments, Member for Kamloops, Thompson Caribou.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Always a pleasure to rise on behalf of the citizens of Kamloops, Thompson Caribou. I respectfully depart from my colleague's analysis where he says Canada's been more united. Frankly, it's been divided, and it's been mostly divided by our Prime Minister and his rhetoric. Now, I want to zero in on one thing.
I think we're united against our Prime Minister.
You mentioned two
comments
that were really interesting to me. One was the rule of law, and the other is the notion of opinion surveys. And he said opinion survey after opinion survey is behind us. Well, when did the rule of law become subordinate to opinion surveys? Something is either right or wrong, so why can't he point to the legislation and say that this is where it's met, because the threshold with respect is not met in these circumstances?
Easy Shifty says, typical paid puppet reading the script. Much support from the States. Thank you so much, Easy Shifty.
And all of us watch opinion polls.
Much love to you.
They're not the final word, of course, but it certainly shows me that my constituents are behind the measures that we have implemented, and a majority of Canadians are. And as far as the rule of law goes, Madam Speaker, we have seen law breaking with abandon. And speaking about the abandonment of this.
Yes, the debate is live.
Ottawa, and as I mentioned, I'm a resident of the downtown, so I have
I'm often right there. What can I say?
And Madam Speaker, the folks, the good folks of Ottawa, the good folks that
not always
are dependent on our border communities, they deserve the rule of law to be implemented, and that's exactly what we're doing.
L'honorable député de Saint-Hyacinthe.
The honorable member for Saint-Hyacinthe, Pagot.
Questions et commentaires. The honorable member for... OK, vous êtes là? OK, m'excuse.
I'm sorry.
Du caractère injustifiable.
My colleagues
Fire Ford, Open Ontario.
The nature of these blockades and the necessity of removing them. And I believe that all here agree that they should be removed. However, blockades such as those at the Ambassador Bridge were removed.
Roosevelt Media News says, the world is united on the idea that Trudeau and Biden need to step down. Yes, I would agree with that. Thank you so much on the super chat, Roosevelt.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thanks to the honorable member for that question. And
I like your picture too.
Speaker,
That's
I think
dope.
we all know that declaring the Emergencies Act sent a very, very strong message to those occupiers, those that were conducting the blockade, and they were able to be dispersed.
Yeah, Trudeau's approval rating has never been lower.
Speech from the member from Windsor West, but subsequently at a number of our border crossing, those measures have really helped to turn away convoys and prevent subsequent blockades. So the legislation is working, and of course it'll have to be ratified by the House tomorrow, and I look forward to that vote.
Questions and comments? Brief question, the honourable member for Vancouver East.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It was made early on that the occupation, within the occupation, crowdfunding and cryptocurrency was being used to fund illegal
activities. Biden stepped down, he can't even step up.
This demonstrated a concerning gap in the reporting requirements. So why did the government not
that was a good comment.
To ensure the proceeds of crime and terrorist financing regulations were updated to ensure these companies are not exempt from reporting suspicious transactions to FinTrack?
The honourable member, the honourable parliamentary secretary, you have 1 minute to respond.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to thank the honourable member for Vancouver East for raising this point, because I think it is an important one. I think our laws need to be updated with some of these modern realities, cryptocurrencies, the influence of foreign actors, the impact of social media and driving people to these funding sites, and so that's exactly what the finance minister has done, is fill those gaps, and we will be better prepared for these kinds of illegal acts in the future.
Let's watch that again.
Charlebourg-Haute-Saint-Charles. The honourable member for Charlebourg-Haute-Saint-Charles. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise today in this House with great pride, thinking about my background. I started my career in the Canadian Armed Forces. And throughout my career, I wanted to defend my country and its values. And today, I can say that I will always be that same soldier who decided that law and order must be a priority for our country, for the safety of Canadians. I serve my country here and abroad, proudly bearing the Canadian flag on my
The world
uniform.
is united on the idea that Trudeau and
I
Biden
want
need to
Canadians
step
from all
down.
parts of Canada,
Right.
proud,
Thank
well-trained
you.
soldiers who are ready to support all efforts to ensure that the rule of law be respected. I personally trained and led soldiers for crowd control operations like we saw recently in Ottawa.
Well, let's go,
I
Brandon.
was deployed in regions of Canada where the use of force was possible, and this was possible without the Emergencies Act. When you defend your country and serve under its flag, you must show unconditional devotion. But with this Prime Minister, patriotism is suffering.
Oh, man.
This Prime Minister's legendary irresponsibility and arrogance haven't improved things. That's what we've been seeing for 22 days. A situation which was supposed to be a protest and which became a siege.
Anytime you feel bad, just watch Biden going up the stairs.
Because the Prime Minister didn't do anything to avoid the escalation. I myself saw how the siege was affecting people.
Yeah, we were showing the UN planes, David.
As an MP, and I understand what Ottawa citizens have been through. That's why I myself asked on February 4th, in a tweet I asked that the protesters leave and clear the streets of Ottawa. I had heard what people needed, and I agreed that this needed to be over. I agreed with that, Madam Speaker. But today, we are here to debate the activation of the Emergencies Act, which shows that once again our Prime Minister has failed.
се случи. Това е началник участък полиция Мързянски. Баща ми е През смъртна криза.
В момента
Да.
извършваме проверка.
Да,
На
извършваме.
теб, къде се намираш, по какъв повод и дали си под карантина.
Да.
А,
Направихте ли проверката?
прави се в момента.
Добре.
Дайте личната карта.
Ето, заповядайте.
Дайте личната карта.
Ето. Аз казвам се Далин Чендъров.
Знаем много добре.
Не съм лапе, на 50 години съм. Заповядайте.
И ти разпореждаме да влезеш в автомобила и да изчакаш.
Добре.
Но тук бихме го приели за пречи на изпълнение на служебното задължение.
Не мога да преча. Не преча.
Което дава основание да приложим правомощия към теб. Затова разпореждам ти
Добре,
да
не стрелям, не убивам, не правя нищо.
Сега, изпълнявай разпорежданията, за да не ни пречиш да си свършим работа.
Добре, имате автомобил, заповядайте си в него. Вършите проверка.
Казва ти да влезеш в автомобила на теб.
Не имам баща, болен, отивам при него.
Отивай тогава.
Да.
Отивай.
Ще върнем, ще го съдим той. Айде, четене. Във Враца почина човек е такива като тебе. Той е, за мен си той е. Не си мързянски. За мен си той е, прилагай ги. Не си вършите работа. Изпълнявате корупционни сделки. Корупционни сделки изпълнявате.
Отклоняваш се от проверката, пречиш ми,
Ами
предупреждавам
защо?
за последен.
Ами има телефони, които искаш прави. И аз знам, че той чакаш. Ама ще бъдеш осъден този път. Ще бъдеш осъден.
Няма да кажете хората, плати са. Приятел, видяхте ли къде гледаме? Видяхте, нали? Ама ако стане
Не ви е срам.
пак ще видите какво става.
Не ще отида в затвората.
Ако видите, вие видяхте какво става.
Това ми е майка.
Когато ни казва, че кара болен човек, веднага сме го освободили да тръгне.
Това го задържахте.
Задържахте ме.
Не го задържахте.
Задържахте ме.
Говори.
Какво да говоря?
Не сме го задържали, който дължи да говори и да се бави.
Вие нанасяте терор на невинни граждани.
Настояване тръгна.
Нанасяте терор на невинни граждани.
По моя настояване.
Нанасяте терор на невинни граждани.
И ти да гледаш човека какво му е.
Нанасяте терор на невинни граждани. Това е терор. Вие не печелите. Че още малко ще бъдете тук. Не, ще бъдете. Знае се, няма да бъдеш тук повече. С тия анархии няма да бъдеш тук повече. Вие приключвате. Днеска ви приключвате. Вършете ме. Имате репио, имате участък. Аз се намирам на обществено. Какво разпореждане? Добре, убил съм човек, какво съм направил? Чакай малко, бе. Спокойно. Вършат проверка хората. Да. Аз не съм малко дете, бе, ура. Аз не съм малко дете, бе. Как е мислите работа? Аз да чакам 10 дни, да чакам на двора, да чакам. Що да знам какво представлявате? Не знам какво представлявате. Как да няма? Аз да чакам 10 дни от дома на двора, защото знам стоката. Знам на кой сте способни. Кой? Ай, звъни, бе. Звъни, бе, има телефон. Хората ми са обадили лично и са казали още с полунощ. Ели, какво се нищо си, има законни правила. Аз знам, че едва ме чакаш, ама да си дошъл дома да ме търсиш. Ще дойдеш, как няма да дойдеш? Спазено е, аз съм принципен човек. За разлика от вас, при мен има законни положения. Не изпълнявам поръчки на кмет и на който да е. Не изпълнявам и не съм корумпиран. Гражданин на Република България, добросъвестен съм. Не изпълнявам корупционни схеми. Окей? Да. Нали видяхте за колко пари струвате? За какво ставате? Да. Ами да, списъка е пред мен в главата. Имам телефонно обаждане, аз не мога така. Пак ви казвам, за разлика от вас съм добросъвестен. Видя ли как се изложи за пореден път? И всичките видяха в цяла България. Срамота. Срамота, гледай, как се изложи. Съши, какво работа? Гледай, каква работа ли е, гледай. Аз не обиждам. Това, което заслужаваш. Че не си вършиш работата. Знаете ли нашата полиция в община Неделино, Марзянски, пчелара, гледайте го. Абе, майка, какви сте откачени хора, бе? Какви сте откачени прости хора, питам аз, бе? Може да ми обясните? Може да ми обясните? Питам, бе. Обясните ме. Хората, майка, живеят в Германия, изкарват евро, цяла година бачка, цяла година мечтаят да се върнат в България, да похарчат еврото. И върнали се врат, че е някакъв си мишок, не ги пуснал на басейн, защото били роми. Абе, вие, хора, имате ли какъв таг да бъде? Имате ли какъв таг да бъде? Има ли значение какви са? Българи, роми, турци, руснаци? Какви са правите, бе? Питам вас. Може да ми отговорите? Нали знаете, че тия хора, където са в Германия и се изкарват еврата, майка, могат целия свят. Те избавят от България на басейн, 3 семейства и ни ги пуснали вътре, защото били роми. Пак да питаме, коя година живеете тук, бе? Коя година живеете, бе? Ама ако бяха дошли ние американци, майка, червенки ли щяхте да ми сложите, нали? Ако бяха дошли ние от Нигерия, щяхте да извикате оркестър за тях на басейна. Ама били роми, затова не ги пускате. Каква е тази дискриминация, бе? Може да ми обясните, бе? За каква Европа, бе? Част от света. Просто не мога да поумея как. И питат го там този спасител, управители. За кой ги пуснат хората, бе? Ами профилактика ще правим. Каква профилактика, бе? Хората влизат пред него, влизат в басейна. Той им задава въпрос, те не знаят какво да лъжат и отговарят. И хората си казаха, повече няма да се връщат в България на почивка. За какво се борим, бе? Защото били малко по-мургави, затова не ги пуснали. Ей, бе, то прост народ, да рече. Просто нямам думи. Просто нямам думи. Всеки ден. Всеки божи ден с някаква простотия. Ни харесвате, а? Искате всички да са като бели гълъби. Няма как да стане, майка. Ей, там отидете горе от това планината, с мечките живеете. Ама в кои сте живеете, където има хора, не трябва да мислите по този начин. Ти какво? Като си българин, дали си нещо по-голямо от цигане от турчина? Я ми обясни. Нещо. $1 дринк сме всичките. 2021 година, това е тази дискриминация. Просто не мога да се обясня. Не мога да се обясня. Хората си плащат билетчета, отшли с нагласа 3 семейства, деца. Те не ги познали, защото били роми. Ей, бе, тази селения, просто... Не знам това. Това никой не може да го оправи. Който и да дойде. Защото акъла, майка, няма как да го оправиш. Ако нямаш акъл, трудно някой ще спаси. Разбираш за какво ти говоря? Много добре знаеш за какво говоря. Ама много идеално изглеждаш. Защото хората били роми, затова не ги пуснали. То просто. И то собственика го пита там на басейна. Защо? Каква е тази дискриминация? Пускате хората тук, влизат, а това семейство не го пускате. Ами, изглежда на дискриминация, ма не. Кой е малумник? Обясни ми. Обясни ми да питам. Мишоци. Пълни мишоци.